I'm just waiting for Moon Trips to accept the speaker role. Is that you on there, Andromeda? Yeah, he is. Hello, Moon Trips. You well?
Hi, good. Doing well, thanks. How are you guys?
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for coming on. We're just waiting to see if a few more pop in. We usually do. Nice to have you on, man. How's things?
Real well, doing well. We just got off of Spaces, actually. We integrated with Stargaze as well, so we were talking to them about things that they could build on AOS.
All right, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we can talk about it today, or whatever hour you're at in your part of the world. It's getting on a little bit here in the UK. But yeah, nice to have you on. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Dimmy here is he's a core contributor to Juno. He's been here from day one, along with myself and Max, who's on the Juno main account here hosting. Just go through some of the governance proposals. We'll have a little chat with myself. Are you okay by labelling you as Moon Trips?
Yeah, or you can call me Angela too. That's fine.
Angela's good, man.
Moon Trips, Angela.
Sure. Yep, that's great. And if anybody else wants to come up, man, feel free. Cristiano, I see you there. I see Cosmos BG, James Miles, S. Roberts. Anybody wants to come up and have a chat, man? We've got some time for you, man. No problem at all. So let's get cracking. So recently we did have the proposal to end the charter, and it did pass. Passed with flying colours, I think, by the looks of it, which is unfortunate in ways. It's just as what it is. I don't think it did what it was supposed to do in the short time it had. Maybe that would have changed over time, but who knows? But the community decided to vote it out and turn the funds back to the general community pool. That's fine. Dimmy, just a quick one. How's that operating? Do these funds go back straight away, or have we got anybody done that yet?
So, most of the charter members in the various departments, they took the proposal quite literally and they just removed themselves from the various sub-DAOs. So now everything is locked in the council balance,
Right.
which is not ideal. But I don't think moving with a software upgrade is the correct path.
Okay. Right, and then there's another proposal. It sort of came from the charter within an RFP to get some validator and chain upgrade support, which is on chain at the moment, proposal 351. You can go on and check that out and vote accordingly. Currently, it's not doing too great. Personally, I don't think it's needed myself. We've got contributors, validator contributors have always just stuck their heads in and got on with chain upgrades and organised them pretty well. Maybe down the line, I'm not sure, but as of now, I kind of agree with the community here on a strong no on this one so far. But yeah, that's it for props at the moment. Is there anything on Commonwealth at the moment? Do you want me to shout out? Dimmy, I wasn't too sure. I've not been up to date with it.
There are some threads that I opened on Commonwealth.
Let me have a wee look.
One was for version 23 upgrade.
Oh yeah, excellent.
But yeah, basically I first asked to the community if someone was available to, do the review and fix some bugs with the upgrade. But yeah, basically some people from, I guess, Jacob Gadikian team, they just contributed to the PR. So now it is ready and it will go live on Uni testnet tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
So we are good to go. We don't need to post that proposal on chain.
All right. So there was a bounty available. Someone wanted to chip in, but Jacob's basically come up and just done it anyway. That's nice of him. Thank you, Jacob. Okay. Anything else on Commonwealth there? I'm not noticing much. There is update from the Common team. Request your feedback. I'm not really too sure what this is and what Common does. I'm not familiar with it. But yeah, I can post a link on the Twitter right now for you guys if you want to look into that. Let me just get that sorted. Cool. All right, awesome. Right, okay, let's move on. So we have a special guest here today. The Andromeda team have popped in. They reached out to me a couple of days ago, is that right? And you guys are expanding with your Andromeda OS and you want to go fully interchain on it. Can you tell us a little bit, first of all, what Andromeda does, if anyone doesn't know, and your idea behind going to other chains like Juno and Stargaze and I believe there's a few more you've reached out to. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Thank you for having me today. I appreciate it. So, Andromeda has built AOS, which is the first operating system for Web3. And what it's doing on a high level, it condenses development time from months to minutes. We have a no code, low code, and CLI tooling and I'll just back up and say that I am not a developer, and I was able to build a CW20 token and a CW20 exchange just by referencing our documentation and walk me through it. So it says a lot if a non-technical person can do it. So it's exciting as we get actual technical people, or even people with more technical skill than I have, to get their hands on the tooling on AOS, Andromeda operating system, because that's when we're really going to get to see what can be done, what can be built that hasn't been built yet. So Andromeda operating system, we are integrating with different L1s. And you can think of it like AOS is the tabletop and the L1s are the legs beneath the tabletop. So when we integrate with a new L1 chain, it opens up the total addressable market for that chain to all of the chains and user base of all the chains that we're integrated with. So that's why it's been a very attractive thing for the chains, because of course we want more users, right? And to give you an example, we're integrated with Injective is one of our chains. So say you are building an order book application on Injective, but you've got a part of your app that you're really concerned about privacy. So with AOS, you can right click, add secret, the capabilities of Secret Network, which is a privacy chain, to your Injective build, the application that you're building on Injective, all because they're both integrated with AOS. So many reasons. To answer your other part of your question, actually, let me back up first and talk about ADOs. ADOs are Andromeda Digital Objects, and you can think of them like Lego blocks. You stack the ADOs to make a full application, a complete application. So every time, say a developer builds an ADO, and that can be a plug and play piece for another application. If another developer or user or someone from the community uses that ADO in their application, that original developer is compensated for it. So there's economic incentive to build ADOs, as opposed to the current landscape is, let me think of a great idea and build a project and try to do a token round or VC funding and this and that. Here, you can build an idea and just get paid for it because it's built into the smart contract, and you get to determine how much you should be paid for that. So that's a little bit about AOS, the opportunities that it brings to other chains, the real economic incentive that it brings to developers. And why we're integrating with more chains is because we see AOS as a network effects machine, really. The more chains we're integrating with, the more developers from their communities can build. The more developers that can build, the more creators can come on and build applications. The more creators we have and applications we have, the more users can now use those applications. And now we start to be attractive to enterprise. And all the while, there's this interwoven usability of the platform. And when you bring in this cross-chain atmosphere to the ecosystem, it makes it more accessible. And I think that we, as a whole, the ecosystem needs to be more accessible to increase that point of adoption and such. And so by integrating with Juno, it would, one thing that I'd love to brainstorm with you guys is every time I talk to a new chain, it's like, what's your unique value prop? What could we do, and what could a new ADO, Andromeda Digital Object, be created that would make a lot of sense for a Juno-specific project, or not. It doesn't have to be a Juno-specific project, but it's fun to think that way, to think about utilizing and really leveraging both technologies from Juno and from Andromeda to be able to highlight an application or an ADO build. And I'll take a pause right there because that was a lot to take in.
Yeah.
See if you have any questions.
Fantastic. Well, in terms of ADOs, what sort of ADOs have already been built? What are the Lego blocks what users can use to harness the power of Andromeda and bring it into Juno? So, for example, is there anything done in terms of gaming and stuff, like a gaming library? People can just pick and use some of these components that they can bring into their own application or idea on Juno. I suppose the question is, what other ADOs have been built already?
Yeah, great question. So when we built the platform, to get it going, we have some templates built of ADOs on there, just to kind of give everybody an idea of here's some things that we can build. So anybody can use those for free on the application. And those are things like crowdfund, an auction, a splitter. So for example, a splitter ADO allows users to distribute funds to multiple addresses. So your standard splitter, but with predefined percentages. A time lock ADO, also like an escrow ADO, securely holds native coins until specific conditions are met.
Yeah.
Rate limit withdrawals. We've got a Merkle airdrop ADO, a lock drop ADO, which allows users to deposit a native token in exchange for a specified CW20 token, which actually facilitates the setup of new CW20 tokens. Obviously, as I mentioned, I made a CW20 exchange and a CW20 token. We have a CW721 template, a CW20 staking template. So lots of different templates up there now, but I think it's a gaming template. I think some of these things that I mentioned, some of these ADOs could be used in a game, but I'd love to consider more of a game specific, because between you and I, that's kind of something that I see a lot of. You know, I've got a lot of friends in the AVEX gaming community and some other gamers that it's interesting to see. I think that's a good way in, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, 100%. I've got I'm working with a developer at the moment, and she's building a poker game. But she's saying, while I'm doing this, I might as well try and build the Rust gaming library so that everybody can use it then to build. Other gaming developers can use Unity and then build other games on top of it. So it's like, I suppose it would be ties in with you guys as well, you know. But the other question I just wanted to jump to quickly is, how does it work? If you've got like a UI, I've seen something on the documentation. It's a bit of like drag and drop components. And is this like, how can you take me through, like, if I was I'm a non-developer, but if I wanted to create, right, I've got this idea here, but I need a Merkle airdrop and I need a bit of, timestamp in there. So how do I implement that into my project? Do I have to do I have to download an ADO and the whole software and run it off of Andromeda?
No, so you can go right to the web app. And when you asked about the drag and drop, we actually have no code, low code, or CLI. So if you're really technical, you can go right to the command line interface. But for someone like you and I, we can just drag and drop. So to me and you, it feels very familiar, almost like Web 2 familiar in that way, which I think is great, because it's almost intuitive in the way that I often used to think of with the children. When they pick up an Apple product, they know what to do. And it's always like, how the hell do you know how to do that? Yeah. It's because they designed it that way, right? And Andromeda and AOS has been designed similarly, in that we want it to be intuitive. You know that this button means click, or you know what I mean? So it's very drag and drop friendly. And at the beginning, as with any new major technological lift, I'd say, there is great supporting documentation and videos. So I think that's important, because not everybody is going to read through the docs, let's be honest, but the docs are super, super helpful. However, if you just want to watch the videos, you can do that too. We have great videos that walk you step by step through. And the cool thing, I think, for what I'm noticing, just like to turn myself into the community side real quick, the videos just, anytime I haven't found a video that I needed, or if I wasn't able to do something that I wanted to figure out, I've seen the community ask and we go create it. So we've got some really handy teammates on my team that are able to output some stuff. And because I think that's important, we need to not, I don't want to say hold your hand, because the tools are intuitive enough that they don't need that, but it's still a new product. It's still something new that hasn't been done before. So for that reason, the tooling, the documentation is necessary.
Awesome. Well, why the decision to launch on every other chain? You have your own chain, so what was the reason behind it?
Yeah, so similar to what I said before about that sort of flywheel effect, Andromeda itself as a chain is really there to support the AOS. The AOS, Andromeda operating system, is the real secret sauce behind Andromeda, right? So by integrating with other chains and other ecosystems, it allows more users to do more things. It allows your assets to have more capabilities. For example, I mentioned we were just on a Stargaze Spaces, to be able to think about moving your NFT from Stargaze over to Secret or over to Injective because you want to do a DeFi trade on it or a loan against it, makes things more accessible. It makes things better for the user. And if we want this space to pick up the way I believe we all do, we need that. We need more accessibility, interoperability, composability. And that's really what Andromeda is trying to bring to the table, and doing it by making it easier and better and faster.
And can I ask, have you got the ability already to transfer an NFT from chain to chain?
So, as you're familiar with IBC, of course, and there's that component as well. So, with the IBC component, we can do so. I think that there's another layer right now to go outside of ecosystem, but to go cross-chain, yes.
Cool. Excellent. I'm going to ask you the tough question now, right?
Bring it on.
What makes Juno an ideal platform for Andromeda OS compared to other networks?
I think Juno has... they have a community, right? I know that there's a lot going on, and whatever way you look at it, it doesn't really matter. I think the fact that you guys are a compatible chain, meaning from your CosmWasm standards, you're clearly in the mix of what's going on. You guys are in tune and to what's going on in the ecosystem. That is, you're a part of the cosmos. We chose the cosmos. Cody Marks Bailey, the founder and inventor of Andromeda and AOS, chose Cosmos because he's been in this space for a long time, and he went through the EVM and the other virtual machines and really saw the limitations, and sees that the Cosmos has a much bigger design space from an architectural point of view. And I think when I meet other chains, because I'm newer to the Cosmos, and when I meet other chains and other projects and developers and users from these chains, I learn more. I learn more about what you guys are doing. And what I really like to learn is why Juno was created. When I learn about the specific reasons why and the unique value props for the chains, that's when my nerd brain gets going, and I think about all these cool things that we can do. And because what we want to do is we want to bring more value to your chain, whatever that might mean. If it's just users, by opening it up to the users from the other chains that can tap into Juno, that's great. But if it's ADOs that make what you do run better, or make it better for your users, then that's even better. So we're going to strive for big things on Juno, and really we can go as big or small as you guys would like.
I mean, what I would like is, there's a lot of friction at the moment with on-ramping and offloading from crypto into normal like banks and stuff like that at the moment. I would love an easy way for just someone to pick up a mobile phone and for example, I've been using a lot of NFTs on using DAO and trying to create a record label. And one thing I'm just if I can get over this little obstacle, I want to get someone to be able to scan a QR code, and basically they buy the ticket NFT for a concert. Now I can set up the concerts. This is all the easy part. I can release records and stuff, but it's getting people to actually purchase the NFT. So a way to just connect a normal user from the Web2 world that makes them scan the QR code, that then purchases some Juno tokens, which then buys the NFT ticket, and it's all done within a phone app. If that could be the game changer for just onboarding lots of people into our ecosystem. Once they get into Juno, then they can travel across the interchain into other great chains that are doing other great things. So, just what's your thoughts on something like that?
I love that. I love that because anything that has to do with simplifying, I'm a fan of, because it's way too clunky right now. I like to say, we like to say, if our moms and grandmothers can't do it, then we're not there yet. And what you just explained, we're not there yet. So I think that can be done, though. So you're basically talking about scanning a QR code, which
It links an
automatically.
NFT. Yeah. It's just I've got a DAO created just as like to test things out, and it's called DAO Records. So, for example, I could sign an artist up. I could say, right, okay, we'll sell you the tickets via DAO. So you've got 500 tickets to sell for your show. Say they all sell out, but how do we get people to buy the tickets very easily and using Juno token and it could be Juno switch to USDC, it could be anything. It's just to get them into the ecosystem very easily. And if you got this going, man, I think you would really you would excite a lot of people, man, because it would be that easy. So that would be the idea behind it. But obviously, then you can link out of that, and the NFT does other things like you can have special perks to a VIP part of the concert and stuff like that. We can get into all that stuff another time, but the onboarding is the key for me at the moment. Like if I go to a massive record company or a promoter and show them what we've got right now, it's not going to cut it, man. It needs to be better than this. Do you know what I mean? So it's not ready for me to take it to these people. So I'm just trying to get it to that stage.
So let me ask you a question. If we could get it to that stage, do you have the connections to go and take it to them?
Absolutely. I work in the music industry here in the UK, man. It's my job as well as working on Juno. So, the connection between the music industry and to crypto, I think, works. It does work. Yeah. And so it's the technology's, it's got the capability to do it, but it's not there yet. I can't just waste an opportunity to show them, this is, you have to download a Kepler wallet and then you have to go, and it's like, they'll just be bored within 3 minutes of the conversation and be like, we're not going to use this. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely agree.
So that's where I'm at with that. That's a wee brainstorm. But I can see Juno as a sort of onboarding experimental chain. DAO was a fantastic application built on Juno, but it's expanded everywhere. I think that's the idea with most projects now. They can expand into every chain. Why not? So,
right.
This is the other question. Talking about communities, like, if you get any ideas how you plan to involve the Juno community in development and implementation process. You mentioned earlier you would do tutorial videos and stuff.
Yeah, and we also would like to do a workshop where either Cody, who's our lead architect, or Leif come on and give the Juno developers, a walkthrough. We can talk about what you guys really want, but things we've seen work well are a walkthrough of AOS and maybe a build. Like if you have some people sign up where they actually want to build their first token or their first something, we can plan that and set that up. Those go over really well because it's kind of more intimate setting, and you really get a lot when you're talking directly to these guys. I learn a lot that way, and I know, like I said before, if you're a developer, you're definitely going to learn a lot that way too. So that's one thing. There's obviously, we would love to do kind of co-market together as well, but I'd love to have sort of something like this where you bring your developers out here and we talk about what they could build. Maybe we can bring Cody on too, just to get some ideas flowing. The other thing is, if they, integration's complete and they've actually started building, then we really want to bring them out to a spaces together, give them a voice, give them a platform to say why they built what they built, or maybe they need help with this, or better yet, maybe they are like, hey, I struggled here, or your platform's lacking there, or things like that we can help improve to make their process even better. Because obviously if they're coming here to build, they want to make something of it, and I think all in all, my goal with every chain integration, we want to bring highlight back to you guys. We want to really highlight what Juno's all about and showcase what's being built over there in Juno through AOS as well.
I think what's happening now with I don't know if you know the history recently, but we created using DAO, we created like the thing called the Juno Charter, and it was like a great governance tool, but it got a little bit. Personally, it got a little bit too many members in each department, and there were just a little bit of. We only had 6 months trial, you see, so it was for me. It was a short term to try and achieve, quite a lot of things. But part that aside, within that, charter, there was a good thing that I thought we got a developer support role filled, which we got to. I reached out to a couple of people who I worked with previously on Juno, who've now, I think they want to keep that relationship going post charter, and they're good cause and WASM devs. They were part of like Juice Labs and stuff. So, I mean, if we can unite all these like builders together some way, yourselves and Dimmy there, who's also a co-host here as the developer himself. I don't know if he's got any questions he wants to jump in with, mate. Do you want to add anything to it? Like, I'm just brainstorming at the moment.
No, I don't have any specific question.
Okay.
Just, I mean, if there is any documentation, I will need some time to, have a look and understand better.
Yeah, I can send that on to him, man, what you've shared me. But yeah, I mean, it's like, if you get a few developers who are like utilising these tools, it can be a win-win. But let me ask you one thing here. It sounds to me like this is some kind of free offering. What's in it for you guys? Obviously, you just want to spread your technology everywhere. So what benefits you in the end? Are you just trying to look for that killer application that was built using Andromeda and OS, and then, it's a win-win for everybody there? Or how are you gauging it?
Yeah, that's a really good question. For us, it's truly a longer term play. It's about supporting. We started this with thinking about how we can simplify Web3 because it's still too clunky, all the things we just talked about. But it evolved into us really figuring out what we need to do to better support the next version of the internet. Because I think that's ultimately what we all are doing, everybody in this space. We've created these great tools, but we want to push it forward. And so we're kind of just this like big happy friend to everybody, non-competing, trying to bring it all together as this, you mentioned unified, ecosystem where we can help lift all ships, be that rising tide to lift all the ships, because really we're not competing. We're not going to say, all right, we're going to build the next Dex, or we're going to build the next, we're not using our tools to build anything to compete with anybody. We're using our tools to say, here you go, Juno developers and all the developers out there. Use our tools to make what you do better, to make what you do easier, better, and faster. And that's really what we're all about.
Yeah, so obviously it sounds great that you're trying to downsize the time it takes you to write something from the ground up. When I see it in Cosmos all the time, it's everybody's just trying to recycle their own version of doing something when it's already been done 20 times, but no one seems to just like build on top of each other's things. But I think we're changing that a little bit. I think everybody's starting to go interchain where it becomes more useful, I think, as a Cosmos as a whole instead of like a fragmented ecosystem, because times are tough. Let me just tell you that times are tough, and you're starting to see people reach out to each other and can we form partnerships, because partnerships is the only way out of this, man. I'm telling you. So yeah, nice. Thanks for answering all the questions there. Has anybody in the community got anything to ask? Is there any developers in here who want to ask? Maybe they've got an idea. They want to throw some ideas back to our guest here. Feel free to raise your hand and I'll get you up. But yeah, thanks. If there's anything else you want to add to it, then, thank you very much for joining and giving us a great talk.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it. Appreciate you guys giving me the floor and allowing me to share what we're doing over here at AOS, and really looking forward to integrating with Juno. As I mentioned to you guys, it doesn't involve any lift on your end. We just hope to bring value and tools to everything that you guys are doing. So thanks again.
No bother at all. Like, going forward, how does the integration, what's the next steps? Like, do we well, I have no idea. Dimmy, you need to help me here.
I will help you. Yeah, so we are, the tech team is kind of handling the technical side of everything. So Juno, we are looking at next week, actually, for being able to announce it. So if you guys want, I can share just date and marketing content with you. If you're interested in supporting, that would be awesome.
Of course, yeah, no worries at all. Yep.
And then if you'd like to do a Spaces, sorry.
No, I was just saying, definitely throw us anything you'd like to integrate with, and we'll help push it as Juno comms as well, and from the main Juno account. Sure, we'd love to. Just show us what we need to do.
Will do. All right, cool. Thank you so much. I'll send everything over.
Excellent, man. Well, thanks for coming on again. You can feel free to hang about and listen to me and Dimmy ramble on for another 20 minutes if you want. But yeah, excellent. Thanks for the chat. All right, Dimmy. So, what are we up to? What have you been up to, mate? Because I know you're busy in the background and I don't think enough people know what you do in this network, mate. Spill your beans. Come on.
Well, quite a lot of things. So, now that the charter is gone, we need to find something else. I shared a blog post with some more long thoughts about what could be the next steps for Juno. But in general, I think we need to find some kind of new organizational structure, and we need to do it quite quick. So I'm working at preparing a few proposals to basically set a new kind of organizational structure for Juno itself. The main idea is to have some kind of leader role, or at least a small group of people that can give a direction. And this group of people should be, of course, like elected by the community. So the general idea is that we will have a phase where anyone that has like a long-term vision or a long-term roadmap for Juno can propose himself or his team as a leader of Juno, and then there will be all and a structure to basically support this kind of roadmap. But yeah, I will draft some proposals in the next probably next week, and share in the forum.
I'm just sending some links to what your blog post was really good. I liked it. We did a wee piece on it, but how the hell do I just post into a space? It's so difficult doing spaces on Twitter, man, honestly. But yeah, I'll share these links through when I figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
continue.
My blog post was very draft, just to get some feedbacks, and actually, especially on Twitter, I got quite a few feedbacks. So now I think I have some more ideas, and I will try to draft something more in detail in the forum so that we can move on and keep doing stuff on Juno. So that's for sure the main priority. And then
just stop there. We had Core 1, right? And then we had the charter. I'm not going to sit here and say the charter was 100% all bad. I thought the charter was actually a good, like the way it was set out was really complicated for what we were doing. But so like you mentioned, I think there was a lot of time just trying to structure the charter out when there was priorities that really needed to be attended to with for Juno. And that's what happened. I think we were just hosting meetings after meetings of like talking about how we're structuring the charter. So then for me, there was some good things that came from it, but for me there was a few other, like people started kind of from other departments started jibbing into our business, and it was like, aren't you supposed to be focusing on the stuff that your department's meant to be doing instead of like, because all we seemed to get was a bit of backlash for maybe not covering every meeting. Do you know what I mean? But it looked like the Juno Twitter fucking page just looked like meeting, and I think me and Cam and Max were all just like, we look really shit here, man. You know what I mean? We need to start talking about, and I think at that day I just decided to started doing interviews again, started talking to other projects, and you can see the difference right away, but it wasn't like we were refusing to work with the charter. It was more like we need to start putting stuff out that people are interested in, man. Do you know what I mean? Talk about wins and stuff. So, but yeah, I think when the charter's finished, it feels like everybody just went, oh, fuck it, down tools and walked away. Do you know what I mean? It's like there wasn't any like gracefully leaving or anything, so it was a bit, I just wanted to say that, like that was my overview of it,
Yeah, I mean, I think the charter was not a bad idea. The problem is that it was too much for the current Juno
Yeah,
situation.
100%.
We had this huge structure with lots of people working to hire contractors and so on and so on. When the token, not the token, the network itself was losing users and developers and stakers as well.
100%.
And that kind of structure was not efficient enough for us to be effective on what Juno needs. And that's why I think the next steps are to
scale it down a little bit. Have like 3 or 4 people, you know what I mean? It's just dealing with the things that the community are wanting them to deal with. Not like, I like the RFPs because like it went through all the stuff. It kind of finds out any scammers and stuff. But I didn't like the RFPs for the way they treated the Mercury Dex folk. You know what I mean? It was like that's really, really fucking slowing the game up there. So yeah, there was a few things that I didn't like about that also.
Yeah, the RFP ideas is good, and at least how the charter was handling RFPs was with a lot of due diligence.
Yeah.
That was needed because in Juno history we funded projects that were not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the process was so bureaucratic.
Yeah.
But we need to find a trade-off because we cannot just do nothing. We need to do stuff, and we need to try to create something. So,
partnerships is great. You've probably got another couple of ideas, but can I ask you quickly? And you don't need to ask if you don't want to answer, mate. Honestly, I just want to ask you: are you going to still pursue building the Mercury Dex with your team? Because I know you've got a great team there, mate, and I think developers on Juno building is a win-win. So I would like to get an answer from you. Are you going to still go for it, or what's your plans, mate?
So I think we will build it. It's just a matter of organizing the time internally in the company. Because if we are not funded, then the priority is automatically very, very low on building something, and that's not because we are bad. That's because the company needs to survive. So we cannot just give high priority to something that we are not getting anything from it. So we will probably build it, and actually I think it will not only be a DEX, but rather some kind of Juno dashboard. So I want to create a real Juno dashboard where you can, you have maybe a DEX, an asset manager, and something to create tokens, something to use Token Factory, use the custom Juno modules. That's the overall high-level idea. But it will take some time. So yeah, I don't know. I cannot give you an estimate on how much.
Thanks for answering.
Time
I really appreciate that. So you're looking maybe a couple of proposals. Scale this leadership down a wee bit. It doesn't need to be too complicated because the charter seemed like no one really knew what the leadership was from the charter's perspective. And speaking of at Core 1 members and stuff, Mr. Jack Zamplin's just popped in. So, hello, how are you doing? We're just brainstorming path forward for Juno here. We had Andromeda coming in and just laying down some amazing things. So, yeah, we've had a good chat here today, but just wanted to say hello as well if you wanted to come up.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say hey also to you, Highlander, and also Demi.
Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, congrats on there was a change to the charter. I'm slightly unclear on exactly what happened.
What we're just discussing there briefly that the community voted it down, as I was talking to you about as well. It wasn't really working. I think it was more.
I would strongly agree with that.
It was just trying to structure so much of the chat instead of trying to structure Juno as such. But yeah, for 6 months trial, it wasn't enough time. I think you'd probably need a couple of years, man, to scale that out. But yeah, pros and cons. But one plus that I did mention, I managed to get Orkin and Hassan back into the fold on Juno, so hopefully they're it's more of a developer support role. So we've actually got people there who can support developers who want to build on the chain and teach them how to integrate projects and stuff. So that was a win out of it. And then what Andromeda's been mentioning here as well sounds pretty cool. You're familiar with them, aren't you?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just looking at path forward here. We want to just Timmy's going to come up with a couple of proposals and maybe just scale down some kind of leadership. I just wanted to ask anybody here if Tank would come up with a proposal to be the leader of Juno, what people's idea behind it would be. Would it be plus on it or would it be against it? You know,
I would definitely vote for that. I mean, actually, I'd love to hear what Demi thinks because we haven't talked about this.
Yeah, I mean, he seems like a guy who's got skin in the game and he cares about Juno, and he's trying to get an NFT marketplace sort of launched on Juno as well, which is also holding Crypto Dungeon back for actually launching an NFT collection on Juno. Another project that's loved Juno and stuck around and wants to be loyal to it in terms of releasing its first NFTs out there. So fair play to him, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tank is could be a good leader for Juno. The only issue is that the proposal that it's now on the forum from Tank, I don't think it's going to pass just because it has too much dictator like flavor. So I don't think the community will love it. But still, I think that Juno needs some leadership. Mm-hmm. And this leadership can come from Tank for sure, or maybe someone else if someone else wants to apply for it.
Ain't the guy good? Ain't the guy got like businesses and stuff like that where he's actually a good business dev? Do you know what I mean? Would it be useful down that kind of avenue, wouldn't it? Just like bringing in relationships and partnerships, because like I mentioned before, that's your way out, man.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Interesting. So, Jack, what else have you been up to, mate?
Oh, just this and that, just kind of making these blockchains.
Still on the roll chains at the moment, mate.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of an extension of Strange Love in many ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're continuing to build. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, good lad. Awesome. What's up? Going forward, I'm going to be still around here, and we've been, as I mentioned before, I've been chatting to a lovely developer. It was part of the Hack Juno team in Turkey, and she's working away trying to finish a Texas Hold'em game for us on Juno. She's just tying the assets up to the Juno design, and then she'll share that with us very shortly, hopefully. But yeah, it looks like someone's potentially could be really awesome for Juno, so I'm excited to see what it brings going forward. So with yourself, Andromeda, there posting in and sharing some ideas, I think we could have a good few building blocks to try and get some creative juices going again. And I'm again optimistic after a call, folks. We should do more of them.
Yeah, it's good to hear from you guys.
Yeah, good to hear from you too, man. If there's anybody in the community who wants to come up and say hello to any questions at all, we'll give it another wee minute before we log off, because that's me out for tonight. And there's usually a big pause.
I think we haven't talked about the next Juno update.
Oh, yeah, so we missed that out. So V23. Oh, sorry about that, Dimmy. Do you want to lead it on that, mate? Fill us in.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a simple upgrade because it just bumps some versions of the Juno dependencies and fix some various bugs. For example, now Token Factory is broken on mainnet.
Why is it broken?
So that upgrade fixes it. Because of a security patch that we applied, and then in conjunction with the very old issue that we never fixed, then that two together broken Token Factory entirely. So the upgrade is going to fix it.
Awesome.
And we also have finally the migration of Core 1 vestings, but not everyone, of course, only the ones who accepted to migrate their vesting. So we are talking about my Core 1 vesting, Jake Core 1 vesting, and Lobo Core 1 vesting.
Oh.
That will be the leftover. So the not vested token are going to the community pool. So it's quite a big upgrade in that sense because we were waiting for it.
Okay.
But it's not that difficult.
We will share a wee post on that upgrade happening soon as well. That'd be cool. Jack, you're going to come on and build something cool on Juno, mate, one day. What, you get any ideas for this?
Maybe one of these days.
Well, the door's always open for you, mate. If you like to come and have a chat with us, man. We've got some tools that are happening now, but it sounds of things. So I've got some ideas. I was chatting earlier on about the potential of I just want onboarding into the ecosystem a lot easier in terms of like you just have a phone, someone scans a QR code and it buys them Juno, and then it enters them into an NFT where they can actually sell NFTs or buy tickets for events just by a simple phone. You know, we need to get to that level.
I agree.
You know, but there we go. All right, guys, I'm finished up here. I've got everything on my agenda covered. If there's anything else anybody wants to ask, just reach out to me, man, and I'll reply back. Socials are always open, and we'll get us up and recording. Thanks for Max for hosting, Timmy for co-hosting, Andromeda for popping up to say hello, Jack for popping in to say hello, and thanks for Camel who's recording it in the background as well. Thanks everybody, and keep in touch, man. We'll be putting out some more news very soon as we get it. Take care of you, buddy, and I'll see you around.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.